Orchid's embryo screening comes with free post-test genetic counseling as well as access to an online portal. In this short video, I'll demonstrate how to use your online portal to review the results specifically related to genetic predisposition screening. On the main page, you'll find a summary of the name of each of the embryos as well as the results of the other analyses. You'll always get the information about the chromosome results, whether or not an embryo is chromosomally normal or abnormal, and if monogenic screening was performed, you'll also get a list of those results. At the bottom of the main page is where you'll find the information about the genetic predisposition screening. You'll get a list of all the conditions that were screened and whether or not an embryo fell in the normal or elevated range. Normal means genetic risk similar to the general population, whereas elevated is elevated risk compared to the general population. You'll also have the opportunity to compare embryos to each other and get more detailed information as well. The detailed information lives at the top of the report. Any of the embryos that are chromosomally normal, you'll be able to select Review. Let's review embryo number 2. Again, you'll get a list of all the other analyses that were performed and then a list of all the conditions where genetic risk scores were provided. The number of scores that you expect to receive is dependent on ancestry. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to genetics@orchidhealth.com. In addition to the summary, normal versus elevated, you'll also get information about the lifetime risk, relative risk, and genetic risk score for each disease. On the first table, you'll get a list of the conditions, and on the right-hand side, you'll get the lifetime risk. The orange bar depicts the general population risk for a disease. Let's use schizophrenia as an example. 0.9% of the population has schizophrenia. This green dot depicts where the genetic risk score is for this embryo. You'll also be able to get additional information about each of these diseases. For schizophrenia, the relative risk is 1.1. This embryo is 1.1 times more likely to develop schizophrenia, or 1 out of 100 people with similar genetic risk as this embryo is diagnosed with schizophrenia. This embryo is in the 58th percentile. Embryos are flagged as elevated if they are above the 97th percentile. Throughout the portal, you'll have frequently asked questions as well as other drop-downs that can help you understand this information. And again, of course, genetic counseling is available to review the results in detail. If you are interested in comparing an embryo to each other, we do have a tool that's available for this. We'll use schizophrenia as an example again. You'll be able to compare each of the chromosomally normal embryos if you are wanting to prioritize an embryo with the lowest risk. The orange bar again depicts the general population risk, and then the information is provided for each of the embryos. You can do this for any of the conditions that are screened. Again, genetic counseling is available to review the results, and this online portal is a way to be able to review the results after a genetic counseling session.